Welcome back to the Just Because podcast, a podcast about all things cosplay and life. Hello, it's me, it's Jeremy. I'm back again after a little break. We've been down to Smash, we've kind of done our jobs, and joining us again for another wonderful session of talking crap, reliving the experience, and just sharing all things wholesome. Welcome back, Daniella. Thanks for joining us again today.
Hello, thank you for having me again, Jeremy. It's great to be back.
How do you enjoy the podcast experience where we just talk crap for an hour and we sit down and, just talk all things cosplays? Is it a fun activity for you, or is it something that you like doing on a regular basis? How do you feel about it?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun because I'm sure you've already noticed I love to talk. I talk a lot. It's probably one of my downsides at con sometimes is I need to get through the con, but I talk for too long.
It's not like it's a good problem to have. It's like, oh, I want to catch up with this person. We talk, it's like, but I gotta go to this event and talk to this person. But that's what we're talking about today. So we've obviously been down to Smash. If you saw us at Smash, and we had a discussion as well, thank you for coming up to us and saying hi. But we had the lovely privilege of getting to host a couple of different panels and competitions this year as MCs. So what was that experience like for you?
It was a lot of fun. I remember leading up to it, I was like, I need to be perfect and I hope everything goes perfectly. But on the day, because I had so much support, like obviously I had Jeremy and Keely and Byron, I felt more chill and more comfy. And after going through the script, I was like, you know what, we'll go with the flow. And also, if anyone ever MCs, Jeremy is the perfect person to MC with. He's naturally great at public speaking and just riding the waves, and what's the word? Improvising.
You said naturally. It doesn't come naturally. This thing I had to build up over the years, all right? I hate public speaking. I worked hard. I was definitely one of those kids who was like, all right, here's the oral presentation. I needed to have the full script on a piece of paper in front of me. But as you saw from what we did over the weekend, I now hate scripts. I absolutely hate them. It just stunts what you can do or what you have to think about. But anyway, we'll get into the details, the nitty-gritty of that first soon. But what we're going to talk about today is pretty much like a Smash recap. We did this last year. We did this the year before with Maya. And we rated the scale on Dark Magician Girls and... what was Aquas? I had another Aqua here. But yeah, so we're going to give our little ratings for today. And we're going to kind of give you the full recap of what it was like for us behind the scenes. Now, we hung out with a lot over the weekend, so we had a very similar experience in that way. But this is us talking about it on the air, in the public view, for everyone else to kind of criticize or judge us or whatever. But if you guys had a great Smash experience, had a poor Smash experience, you had very varying opinions, we'd love to hear about it. So please just send us a message, just send us a DM at the JustBeCos Instagram, justbecos.cast, and we're going to start airing some of your dirty laundry about conventions anonymously. So you can also have your say, okay? Now, let's start from the start. So, the Smash, have you been to Smash before?
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought you were asking the listeners for. I was waiting for them to respond, and
it's just you and me in the call at the moment. Gosh,
I just realised that it's just you and me.
We're not in front of the audience
Smash
anymore.
For a long time.
Smash for a long time. Okay. And what's your Smash experience usually been like? Have you been since? Because they were over in Parramatta at the race course reviews. Did you go to Smash when it was over there, or?
Yeah, I also went when it was at Town Hall and in a uni, I believe.
God, you've been going for ages.
Yeah, when I was like a kid, basically. But it's like kind of a blur. But I just remember the trip there with my friends, and also I remember the thing that stands out the most is when they were showcasing the drawing technology at the time, because I loved to draw, and I was like, you could draw on a screen and it comes on the screen. Yep. I was like, what? Yep. Yeah. I was so impressed, but I had a lot of fun. Like, Smash was always fun for me growing up, and it still is a lot of fun.
That's cool. Are there any memories in particular that stick out? That's like, oh yeah, this is a memory I remember from Smash that really sticks out in my mind.
Oh, let me think. I made a lot of friends at last year's Smash, I remember. And that was really fun. Like, one of my close friends, Lily, her username is Momo Lily. We had met beforehand briefly at like a little meetup, but we were the only ones talking to each other at last year's Smash.
Yeah,
So we
right.
kind of like glued to each other and we became good friends from that. So I really value that friendship, and we just were so comfortable so quickly, and it's really nice when you could just bounce off someone so instantly.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of my most my more recent, like last year's Smash, more recent great memories.
Yeah.
That was when I was getting more into it too.
That's interesting. As I tell everybody, my Sydney, particularly Sydney, not just Smash, but Sydney experiences are either like a 10 out of 10 experience or like a 1 out of 10. There is no in between. Because oh god, one of my earlier memories was when going to Smash, and I was not socially capable. Just I'm gonna show up in a costume and like, yeah, people talk to me, that would be nice, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or I went down with one of my best mates at the time and met up with some uni friends there, but they're the kind of friends that you kind of say hi to and you chat for, I don't know, 5 minutes, but you don't really have that chemistry. So I vividly remember we chose some random hotel which had like a 2-star review. Just because, like, all right, 2 guys, and just how bad could it be? And all I wanted to do that weekend was just sit as best as I could in the free time and just play League of Legends on my laptop. But the internet was so bad, or the Wi-Fi, this is Wi-Fi back in 2012 or 13 or something, we had to sit out in the hallway of the room. So this is us with like a table in our doorway on 2 laptops.
Oh my goodness.
Just playing League. So that was
What a vibe.
It was a vibe, but again, it's like, oh wow, do I remember much from that trip? Not really. Like, it was just one of those things in which nothing really happened. But yeah, as time goes on, just, get more social, want to go out there and meet more people. So thankfully Smash has just kind of gotten better and better as time goes on.
Yeah.
Now, this just start off with an overall experience. Out of 5, we'll just make it a very simple experience. Out of 5, how many stars would you rate this year's Smash experience? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
So out of 5, I'd probably give it a 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only reason why a rating was lost was only, I think most people know, was due to a lot of the confusion that happened leading, like, pretty much a few days before the con and all the social media stuff, and everyone was like, what's okay, what isn't okay, my costume, like, I don't have time to just choose a new costume. And a lot of the time the security tended to be a bit of a pain, but I know that's necessary for the safety of people. But otherwise, like, Smash staff in general were incredible. Like, they were so kind and welcoming, and they took really good care of us, and I had fun at the con from what I got to explore, that is.
Yeah.
I can't really rate the con itself because I didn't see it, but from the map, I thought it was so cool. Yeah, what about you?
Similar. I'd go with a 4. It wasn't the perfect convention. I don't think any convention's ever going to be perfect, but when it does, you're going to get that 5-star rating. You watch. But for very similar reasons, because you probably talked about the same social media post. It's like, okay, how lewd do you want to go this year, everybody? You can have up to 60% lewdness, which may or may not include your upper chest. And we were like, does that mean I can or can't take off my shirt? Does that mean I can or can't wear this bunny suit? Like, what's permissible, right? And it's obviously cosplay itself is a big form of self-expression for a lot of people in many different ways, whether it be fashion or, wearing a character which means something to them, or, wearing something that makes them just feel sexy and hot, which is a lot of us, like you guys in your bunny suits and with or without bunny ears, right? So it's a bit of confusion, like, oh, do I have to change my plans? I've been working on this costume for 6 months or something. So in this sort of same thing, security was very doing their job, but it seems there was a bit of a miscommunication between people here and there. But con itself was fine. I got no issues with it. Lots to do, lots to see. I don't think I could actually get through all of it. But that being said, so 4 out of 5 overall. Our weekend, between the 2 of us, it was kind of split between doing work stuff and also kind of doing our own thing. Run us through the weekend, Danielle. What happened? What did we get to experience that was unique to us that other people would probably not have got that chance to do so?
So we were seen as staff for the event. So being staff meant the thing I probably liked the most was we had a staff room with free food.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Oh, yes.
everyone knows at cons, like, you always usually don't give yourself enough food or water, but thankfully we had no excuse not to eat or drink because we had an abundant, selection of foods and water and tea, and not just any tea, it was T2 tea. So we were like, oh, it's the bougie stuff. We were like, oh, okay, let's go.
Free coffee and hot water was great.
Yeah.
Did you get your food vouchers too, by the way?
I still have it. I never used it. Did you use yours?
I used mine. I used my food voucher, so I got some hot food that was not cold.
Done that.
Yeah, should have. Too busy working. Look at you.
Yeah. Oh goodness, so bad. Yeah, I completely forgot about it, to be honest. But yeah, the food voucher was really cool. But I really loved that. I liked that we could just go straight into the con with that, because we needed to, of course. We needed to just skip the line and go straight in. It was pretty easy to find the staff room, like straight off the bat. We had someone that met up with us to help us get to where we needed to go. Yeah. And you and me did good with finding each other on the first day.
We found it.
Which
we didn't get lost. Excellent.
Yeah. It's really good.
Big shout out to Elaine and Hoodie and Kate for taking care of us, because those were our facilitators for the rest of the event.
They were wonderful.
But yeah, no, it was solid. I don't think I got a little bit hungry because there's a lot of like sugar. I had a lot of sour straps.
But, same.
It's so good. I don't know, it's one of those things in which I was like, wow, sour straps. I love these. And then I ate the few. And I went to the shop the other day and I was like, wow, I feel like some sour straps. Then I just look at them and I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy these, I'm just not going to eat them. But if they're there in front of me and they're free, I'll eat it. But it's like, no, I'm not going to pay money for sour straps.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, so our weekend, we got to do some MC work, which meant you probably saw us on stage doing the cosplay competition on the Saturday. That was Daniella's first time MCing? First time doing this kind of thing?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it. It was really fun.
Yeah? You didn't seem like you were too nervous or like, running out of things to say, or what should I do next? So
I was kind of going with the flow, like you said. And when you were like, just take your time, like, we got this. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We got this. And I think what I struggled with the most was like ending the conversation after asking a question. Yeah. And a lot of the time I'd ask the same question and end it the same as every person. I was like, I
gotta mix this up a bit.
I keep repeating myself. Yeah, I need to really mix it up. But I'm always open to feedback in terms of this because I want to do better. So if anyone listening has any feedback, please do let us know. I want to know how to improve and do better. Feedback is always important with these things, but public speaking in general, I always enjoyed it in high school.
Oh, you're one of those people who liked it. I see.
Yeah, I was like really into English and I was fine with my presentations and my speeches and all that. But I'd never emceed for an event. Like I've done speeches at weddings and like helped with when my grandparents were doing their vows again because they had like a 50-year anniversary for their wedding. But otherwise, nothing for like a huge event like this. But it was so fun. It was such a great experience. I loved it so much.
Yeah, I think the crowd was very nice as well because it's very easy for people to not want to cheer or say, this is boring and just going to get up and leave. And like I get it. We've all been to a cosplay competition before to view it, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's a bit slow. But no, it was good. I'm glad you enjoyed the experience.
I hope you did too.
Mind you, I'm not perfect either. But I'm still. You might have remembered there's some infamous clip someone took of the MC at Supernova Gold Coast, like 2017 or 18 or something.
Oh, no.
So, you asked every cosplayer a question or something, and just like me saying, hey, that's pretty cool, his comment after everyone's explanation was like, that's fantastic. Wow, that's fantastic. Fantastic. It was just, someone did a clip, I can't remember who did it, but it was just the same kind of comments each time.
Funny.
But, now that you've kind of been in their shoes, it's like, I kind of get where they're coming from, and
100%.
Having to consciously focus on making a wide variety of comments on a bunch of different things. But I think it's good that you kind of picked that up yourself because it's like, all right, cool. Now I know what to kind of keep in mind for next time and see what the vibe's like.
A bit of honesty that I didn't actually pick it up myself. Byron pointed it out to me and I was like, you're right, I did. I was like, thinking back, and he was like, I thought you noticed or Jeremy told you because you started changing it. I was like, no, I didn't notice. Oh, damn. That was just really convenient.
I didn't want to say anything on stage, but maybe, I don't know, unless you wanted that kind of, like, hey, say something like this. I don't know if you wanted that, but... hey,
in
look,
future, you're more than welcome to. Like, I will take it fine.
No, that's... Look, I'm not an expert either, so I don't want to be like, look, I've done this twice before, so, like, you know... no, that's cool. Good to know. If anyone else observes something about us, like, throw us some comments. We'd love to see what you think. Should we do it again? Do you want Andy Trieu back? We got to meet Andrew Trieu, actually, backstage. Yeah. Old mate was having a cuppa. Yeah. He seemed pretty chill. Like, I like his vibe, so... yeah. And if you're listening to this, just shout out to you, man. You're doing a good job. You keep at it, bro. I know, and apart from that, did you get the chance to meet many people or catch up with lots of friends? Or because our day was very much like, okay, be here for marshalling, stay in the back room, and come backstage and be on stage for this portion. And other than that, it was, you know, we get to roam around and do whatever. But it was always like, keep an eye on the time. You know, what are we doing?
Oh yeah,
so
100%.
It wasn't until after we finished our last panel on the Sunday at like 3 o'clock or something. It's like, now I can breathe a bit. I don't have to worry about doing anything or going anywhere. So but did you get the chance to meet any new faces or speak to many different people that you haven't spoken to before? Or was it just kind of connecting with old friends and connections?
Yes and no. Like, I definitely met some new people, or people that were like, oh, I've been following you and I like your stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's nice to meet you in person. There's some people that I have, you know, we've been following each other online, but we haven't met in person yet, that I finally got to meet in person. And we were like, yeah, like really excited and happy. And I'm glad I got to do that as well. And then just some randoms that asked for photos. And this lovely lady, she gave me and Byron these little, they're called candy bracelets. I didn't know that's what they were called. But they're like the beaded bracelets people use for concerts and stuff, and they exchange them and they say they have words on them.
Oh, that's cute.
I don't know how to explain it, but she gave us them and I was like, oh, thank you. So, you know, posted on my story and followed her and everything. That was really nice. But a lot of the hangouts with people I knew happened after the event at like dinner and stuff.
I think that's where like friendships are forged. So you know, I think it's at the event. It's like, hey, I like your look, or I like your costume, and you kind of chit chat a bit, exchange socials, whatever. But then after that, it's not who you are, you know, forced into close proximity with, like in school. It's like who you hang out with afterwards at the shops, who are going to become your friends, right? So
exactly.
I think that was kind of a nice little. It's cool because I like what you guys were doing. It's just like, oh, let's have dinner with these guys and then invite these friends, and then friends of friends get to meet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
it was great.
But yeah, no, for anyone who was there on the weekend, let us know. Did you meet anybody? Did you find your true love? Did you make some new connections? On Sunday morning, I had my own panel. So thank you for everybody who did come along. That was very kind of you. I did have a few people who, old mates, it was like, 10:30, Jeremy, so early, but they showed up. I appreciate you. Yeah. I had a few listeners of the JustBeCos podcast actually come to listen, which is really cool. So thank you very much. You know who you are. But apart from that, that was a big difference from like, let's go on stage with a script, and then I'm going on stage without a script. It was so much nicer without a script. Like, I just felt free. I felt like, I don't know, I could take off my floaties on my arms. It felt like I could take off the training wheels on my bike. It felt like...
You were in your element.
In my
element.
Could tell. Yeah, talking about something that I love. So, I mean, we could harp on about podcast stuff all day too. I could absolutely go on with that. But I think there was another podcast there.
Was there?
Yeah, they were doing some other kind of collab too with them, but I think they had a booth. I didn't actually get to check it out.
Oh,
I was keen on doing it. But anyway. Yeah. But no, that was a cool little kind of like side quest, side story with people.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. But in terms of on the reason I brought this, it's like I did a panel, me. No, the reason I brought this up, the reason I brought this up is, Daniella, agree or disagree with me, or I want your comments on this. So, I think meeting people at conventions is a good like entrance to what it is to actually meet people and create a long-term friendship or connection with somebody in a way that really emphasizes how modern social interactions work. So put that really simply, go to cons, meet friends, it's good practice for IRL.
Oh, 100%. Especially because it's so weird, but I feel like there's almost less risk when you're at a convention where you know these people love what you love. And Jeremy said it himself in the podcast at the con, like, the panel, sorry, I should say. He mentioned, he's like, you're all here for the same thing pretty much. You all love anime and you all love to see people in cosplay. Just approach someone, because 9 times out of 10, people are going to love that you approach them and talk to them. And I definitely found when I started actually going out there and approaching people, it was so easy at conventions. Easy. Oh my gosh, like, not saying that's easy for everyone. Like, of course it's always scary, but it was a lot easier than if you were in public randomly. And for instance, there have been times when I've been at a bookstore and someone's looking at a comic that I really love and I want to tell them, you should get it, it's so good. But I'm like, no, I don't want to be weird. Like, I don't want to be that person. They're like, oh, okay, please don't talk to me. Because there are people like that who are like, please don't talk to me.
No, absolutely.
I'm anxious. So at a con, it's a lot easier.
It is.
I feel like everyone wants to engage and talk and happy to have photos and take photos and, interact with one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people just like, oh, well, cool, what do I do from there after I've taken the photo? I just take the photo and say bye. But it's well, how does this translate to real life too? It's like, well, if you go out into a bookstore, for example, I'm going to use that as the example for today. It's going to be like, all right, what do? You have to say hi, right? You have to say hi. And from there, it's like, okay, cool, is there a vibe or is there not a vibe? If there's a vibe, cool, like, let's talk about anime, let's talk about the comic book for a bit. And after that, you're like, all right, that was pretty cool. You seem like someone nice. How about I'd love to get to know you better and catch up sometime. Just hang out, right? Cool. Excellent. What do? Yep, swap socials. You know, it's not as if, for example, if I said, hey, can I get your number? Number one, no one uses text messages anymore. But if you do, it's like, there's like an implication of, this person likes me more than just a friend, or there might be something there. Even still, you'd still ask for their socials, right?
Yeah.
So, number one, I know, because I've got clients like this too. They said, I don't have Instagram, I don't have social media because I don't like using it. And I get it, that's fine. You don't have to put your face out there, but just have an account. Post nothing. Put a picture of your cat as your display picture. I don't care, but just have an account so when you do talk to people and meet them, you can exchange details and have a way of getting in touch with them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And what was it? I have heard a lot lately, like even just passing by at cons, people's conversations I've overheard. Someone would be like, do you have Instagram or whatever?
Yeah.
A lot of the time people say, no, because it was bad for my mental health. I'm like, oh, that's really sad, because I feel like when they're on Instagram, they engage too much with things that make them not feel good about themselves and they compare themselves a lot. But it's so important these days, especially, and I think you mentioned it too, to have an online presence, because that is the now. Everything's online now. Everyone communicates online. And I know you don't have to post anything, but I feel like posting stuff kind of shows a bit of your personality too. If you're a bit scared, it can help start conversations.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If you just posted your collection of manga, for instance, that could start a conversation. People might comment and be like, I love that series so much. That's so cool. So I feel like it is scary, but just starting off by making the account, like you said, Jeremy, is the biggest step. But then posting things you love helps so much.
It's just like, there's a bit of an art to, doing social media in terms of like, what's appropriate, or what's actually going to be something that makes me feel good or makes me want to keep it up. Because I know people said, I post something and I'll take it down a day later because I'm embarrassed, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, there is a bit of a finesse to learning this thing, what's going to make you feel comfortable, but it is a good first step just having it, I think, right? I
agree.
Quick side note for anybody who does feel overwhelmed by social media because you'd start doom scrolling, you start comparing yourself, whatever. The two tips, which has really helped me. I'm going to put it out there right now. This is turning into a little bit of an Instagram thing. Anyway. So, number one, if you are following people that you are not fond of what they're posting because it's sad, it's depressing, you just don't vibe with it, but you don't really want to unfollow them because, but we're friends, or I don't want to, have that awkward thing where we take a photo later and I'm not following them or something. I get it. I've been there. The best thing that Instagram has released is something called a mute function. You mute their stories, and if you want, you mute their posts, and it means you're still following them. So if you're curious, you can, pop back, and I do that with a few, but... So I'm follow, I don't know, 500, 600 people, and I've muted about 350 of them, I swear. Not to say that, like, oh shit, am I on Jeremy's, like, mute list? You might be, but...
When you told me that, I was like, oh, that makes me feel better about how many people I mute as well.
Yeah, no, like, and it's not one of those things in which, again, like, no one knows who I'm muting, just me, but it's one of those things it's for me. It's my own health and for my own concern, in that when I log on, I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. I want to feel inspired. Yeah. I want to surround myself with cool people, with inspiring, happy people. And not to say that don't be sad, don't do those kinds of things, but I do, there's a time and place for posting those kinds of things, and airing out your dirty laundry on public for everyone to see is not no go. It's not my cup of tea, and
no,
I don't think it particularly helps anyone else. In that situation, I suppose it could.
No, definitely.
It could. Like, I'm coming from a place of someone who is doing pretty well with my mental health, but anyway, that's number one. It's just mute whatever you kind of feel is not working for you. But number two, this is the kicker. This is the kicker. Okay, now you probably would have been here as well, Daniella, probably a couple of years ago too. Maybe you're on the market. You're like, oh, let's see what kind of cute guys are out there or cute girls are out there, and you start up a couple of conversations, but just like me, just like everyone, you get a bit of anxiety, like, oh god, are they going to reply back? What are they going to say? What do I reply? Do I want to say that I've seen their message or not, kind of thing?
Yeah, you overthink it.
The best thing I ever did was turn off notifications for Instagram. Just turn them off.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So it's just like, okay, I'm going to log into my phone like 3 or 4 times a day, and only then, maybe 2 or 3 times, just depending on how busy I am, and only then will I kind of see messages, reply to it later, or just don't reply at all, and just do it when you feel like it. Because I know, when someone says, you hear that ding, this person has replied to you, and I'm like, it's like, no. Now it's like, oh, now I have to calculate in my head, like, do I wait an hour to reply? Do I make it like this long, or just like a really short message? So yeah, just take away that anxiety. Is just take off notifications. Log in.
Oh yeah.
It's like your emails. You check your emails 7 times a day, or just when you get home from work or something. Like,
exactly.
That's it. That's all it should be. So
definitely. Anyway. I used to get anxious about it so much. I used to be like, they're not responding to me. I'm not important to them.
It's like, oh, I have to make sure I care by responding as soon as they send it.
Yeah. But it's like, I've realized that everyone is busy and has their own time that they can respond, and it helps so much. That's why now I just you just got to be yourself. If you like to send a lot of text, then that's fine. If you just like to talk a lot, that's fine. But don't like make your life revolve around their time, if that makes sense. Like, respond when you're ready, and if they get angry at you, then they're
that's on them.
They're not being that's on them, honestly. On them. Yeah.
Oh dear.
100%.
But coming back to what I was talking about, panels, look. The panel stage this year is fantastic. Like, I loved big open space, very well lit. The crew and the team who was helping on the stage that I was on, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Because the same kind of panel that I did this year, the staff room upstairs next to the stage, that was the panel room last year.
Oh.
And I'm just going to say, it wasn't very good. It really wasn't very good. Like, it was quieter, that was a given. But because it was so far removed from everything else, it was so hard to find, and no one would kind of come along for a lot of things. So that was that room combined with the karaoke room. So those rooms were kind of combined to become something. So the panel stage this year is out on the floor. Yes, it might have been a bit more to set up, but it was so easy to find. It was so much space, and people who are just kind of curious about it, they can just walk in and sit down, and that was really good. So
it was really good.
Yeah, so panel stage this year, that gets 5 stars from me because it was nice. Because you got on top of the panel that we did with DJ Haru, which was an even bigger stage. How did that feel? Kind of with a sit down microphone, looking very official and stuff. How did you find that compared to standing up with the handheld mic? What was that experience like for you?
So it was different because I have I guess the closest to that kind of microphone is like my gaming mic, where it sits on my desk and I talk into it. But they were shaped differently, and I was like, is it too close? Is it too far? And then in the crowd, the staff were like, pull it closer. And I was like, oh, okay. So I pulled the microphone closer because I kept leaning forward to talk into it. I was like, they were like, just pull it. I was like, oh, okay. I thought they put it there because it has to stay there. But once I was comfortable and everything, it was fine. It was definitely interesting because I would look at the screen behind us sometimes so that I could see even more detail what DJ Haru was doing with the wig styling, and I'd have to lean back. Like, I just instinctively leaned back when Jeremy, for instance, would be talking to DJ Haru, who was next to me, because everyone in the crowd, they're looking at us front on, but you
can't see the side profile. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you don't want to just look forward when you're talking to someone. So I was like leaning back so Jeremy could look at her while he was talking. So it's definitely a very different experience. But no one notices those things. No. It's just little things that you notice when you're on stage in the panel. There was a few issues with one of the microphones dying, but we just kind of like rolled with it. I kind of spoke to the mic and I was like, our microphone died because no one was helping. No one could tell, so that they fixed it up.
Yeah.
But it was a fun experience. I really liked it. I'm glad. It was different.
I actually can say, like, nothing is gonna go perfect with anything. So
100%.
If it's like your cosplay skit or, organising who goes on stage first or what we're going to say. So a lot of it is just doing it on the fly. But
definitely,
I think something I like from this is kind of really shows, and hopefully you've realized this about yourself, that even if everything goes to crap and nothing works, like, you'll still find a way to make it work and make it presentable, and people are not going to really care that much in the end. So they're just like, oh, they're doing their best. Oh, there's tech issues. Oh, well, they're no need to be like, oh crap, like, this is all my fault, or like, this is embarrassing. Like, it's not.
100%. Because when you're watching and it happens to someone, because just from experience, if you've been to a panel or watched someone speak and stuff on stage, when there's a technical issue, no one cares in the crowd. You're just like, oh, well, like, it's happening, I'll just wait. Yeah. Like, you don't go, boo, oh my god, it's so shit now.
Technical issue, you suck. Like,
yeah, god damn, do better. Get good. Nah, it's not like that. No one cares. So there's no use stressing because it'll get fixed. And if it doesn't get fixed, you could like improvise, you could share a mic around and so forth. Like, it's always a way to make it work. So like, stay calm, breathe. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. We'll make it work. Friend House, we'll get to in a second. Your hotel. What hotel? What did you go on this year? Because it's like a new experience every Smash. It's like, which hotel did we get this year? How'd you go?
Well, because I live in Sydney.
Oh, you don't even need
a hotel. We drove. It's like a 40 to 50 minute drive depending on traffic and stuff, but we drove and we found really cheap parking, but in the end we didn't have to pay. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it was the weekend between certain times or something, but it was good. It was near the convention. We didn't have to pay. It was awesome.
Best kinds of accommodation where you don't have to pay for it.
Exactly. In future, I probably would stay in the city if if we were working again at Smash or at a con in general. I would next time stay in the city so that I don't have to get up as early and I can because you have to get up a lot early. Not early am I getting to cosplay. I have to prepare for the work we're about to do and get there at a time. Because normally at cons, just to quickly say briefly, I take my time. If the con starts at 9, I'm getting there when I wake up and feel like going.
It's maybe midday, maybe after midday. I don't know where Jesus has taken me today. So it's
like Supernova. We got there at 3 p.m. this year.
There you go.
And we did everything we needed to do, and it was fine. And we had a great time. So I'm very chill, unless there's something we really want to see at the con, like a panel or an event or a person we want to meet at a time. But otherwise, it's like, no, we chill, we get ready, we have breakfast.
Well, I appreciate you showing up for my 10:30 panel on a Saturday. What time did you guys have to get up for that day?
Oh, I think we got up at 7 or 8 a.m. But we were still rushing because I quickly sped ran my makeup I was like, oh, when you've cosplayed enough, you know how to speed that stuff.
You pop those contacts in, just smack on your makeup, and you're good to go, right?
Yeah, literally, yes. And but because we were driving other people, you know, it was like it kind of delayed time.
Yeah, of course,
so
of course.
someone arrived, and they arrived on time, and then we had to go pick up Mark, which was fine. He was ready way before we were, and we're just like, shit, like,
Yeah.
we got to Zoom. And you saw I was puffed when I arrived. I had ran to the staff room because I was late.
You were late. It's all good. It's all good. At the end of the day, it's just like, in the panel, make sure you talk about this. Don't talk about this. We never even got the opportunity to. Because it's like, all right, let's do some wig styling today. And that was so good, honestly.
Oh, it was really
Haru,
good.
if you're listening to this, your wigs, crisp, beautiful.
Amazing.
Thank you for passing on the legends and knowledge of the gods. So,
honestly, she's incredible. But yeah, I hate being late especially for like a job and just in general. If I'm telling people I'm going to be here at a time, if I'm late, I'm like, no, I have done the greatest dishonor. How could I? So I was like running so fast upstairs, like 2 flights of stairs and through crowds, like, move, I have a place to be, politely, of course. But
that was me for DreamHack, because I had a podcast slot to do with Jinxie on the Sunday, but oh god, that was the morning of. If you listen, I don't know if you listened to that episode, but I had bloody bed bugs the Saturday night. So
no, I didn't hear that one.
No,
yet.
so I was about to go to bed at midnight, and then I just kind of see this thing creeping out the corner of my eye. I was like, "Is that a bed bug?" And it was. I'm like, "Oh fuck!" So I slept on like the lumpy pull-out couch with no mattress. It was like a trampoline almost with springs. In the next room under the heater with no blanket because I didn't want to touch the blankets from the bed, obviously. So,
you poor thing.
Yeah, so they had to like check me out of the room. They got me a new room, and I could only check into that room at like 11 o'clock, right? So, and my podcast's at 12. I'm like, well, fuck me. I guess same thing. Just put in the contacts, slap on the makeup, and just like power walk. Because I looked at like Uber versus walking, and Uber would have been 15, 20 minutes versus walking half an hour. It's like, no, fuck, I'll power walk this thing. So by the time I get there, I'm like, oh, Jinx, I'm here. I'm ready to do a podcast. But the guy's like, oh, dude, it's chill. Like, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's always the way. You panic for no reason, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone else is like, oh, you're fine.
You're fine every time. But, and that was getting a hotel in the city too. But
I was about to ask, how was your Smash hotel?
My
no
hotel,
bed bugs this time, right?
This one, it looks like it could have had bed bugs. It was old as hell, but it had none. It was great. So the place I stayed in, shout out, Wynyard Hotel, it was basically rooms above a pub. And you're like, oh, what the heck? Isn't that going to be noisy and crap? And honestly, like the pub was in a quieter part of town, so there were a lot of like office workers going there on Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon. But Saturday, Sunday night, there's like no one there because it's a quiet part of town.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, shared bathroom, like these old rooms, but it was comfy, it was cheap, like there was always a bathroom available because I know there's only 5
I love
rooms.
that.
And if you ever get a place which is like, oh, this place is shared bathroom and it's above a pub, I don't know about that, fam. It's honestly pretty good. It's honestly pretty good. So
I get scared of shared bathrooms sometimes. I'm like, oh
no, I get you. Like if you think like hostel arrangements where it's like, I don't know, 20 people or 30 people to one bathroom because I don't know there's like shared rooms. It's like you get your own room. You just have to use this one, or there's 2 bathrooms per floor, and each floor was like 6 rooms. So there was always a bathroom, which was great. So
that's so good.
Yeah. So that accommodation wasn't bad at all. Right next to the train station. I was like, okay, cool. I like it.
That's so good. So, yeah.
Hotels this time, look, it wasn't a 5-star hotel, but the experience was solid. The distance was a bit crappy because it was like northern part of it. It was like closer to Circular Quay.
Yeah.
So I'll give that one a 4 out of 5. Wasn't bad. It was solid. But how was your
so good.
How's your driving experience? How many stars would you rate that with Sydney traffic and free parking and?
So the driving experience was fine. Sorry, please, if you hear Mozart barking in the background, he just has a lot to say at the moment. He wants to be part of the podcast, but he cannot. But in terms of driving, Byron was the one that drove, but it was pretty chill. Like the time kind of went fast because we're all talking heaps in the car. Of course, when you get into the city, sometimes you have a few like idiot drivers, like a lot of people cutting you off and merging. And you've seen Sydney, like Sydney is very cramped and narrow, old city. It's a very old city. but the parking we used was the same parking we used for Generation Games, which is another con we had here. So we already knew where we were going to park, thankfully, because we found that. So finding the parking was easy. The walk was super close, so we just had to walk over that bridge.
The bridge.
I don't know if you remember, there was that little bridge.
The nice one with like flags up it, and once upon a time there was like a monorail or something that went there.
Yes,
oh.
yes.
I look at the empty monorail stations. I look a bit sad. I'm like, oh, that looks like it was something at one stage in time. But all right, cool. Yeah. So it's near to that side of the bridge.
Yeah, So okay. Yeah, it's just basically over the bridge from. There's like that bridge that's near the Chinese gardens and stuff like that, and near Tumbalong Park, which is right near the ICC. So it wasn't far at all. It's like a 5-minute walk at most. But yeah, that whole experience was fine. Again, if we'd stayed in the city, we could have stayed out later with everyone. Like we could have gone drinking and stuff.
Yeah, missed out.
Yeah, we missed out hard. Although we were exhausted, but it's less stress of getting home, because it would be like, oh, if we stay out another hour, we won't be home until another hour after that. And then it takes an hour to actually fall asleep.
It does like that, you're like, oh. You have to take the makeup off, you have to get changed, have a shower after and like wind down, do your dailies on your phone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it was great.
I'm glad. So good experience if you're a local, because you know where to go, you know how to go, where to go. But the thing you missed out on, as I said, where friendships are forged, the friend hangouts after the con. Now, this is the most common question I get asked nowadays. Rather than like, oh, what do you say? It's more like, how do you forge a deeper friendship with people, right? How do you get past that surface level conversation and make some friendships that mean something? How do you move on to the stage in which I'm interested in someone and want to, develop a deeper relationship? How do you do that? The key here is in the after con dinners, all right, everybody? That's what you need to do.
After con dinner.
Now, it doesn't go straight from like, oh, hey, see you at a con, meet up. Like, it can very much go that quick, depending on how open you guys are to hanging out, how good the vibe is, right? It very much is like that. But if you're the kind who wants to like play it slowly, right? Number 1, get Instagram. Okay, this is the 2024 tips, 2025 tips. You need Instagram at this point in time. Okay,
100%.
If you're like, yeah, I've got Discord. Discord to a lesser extent is okay. But if you're still just going on Facebook friends, or you're using Snapchat or whatever, look, you're fighting an uphill battle, okay?
Yeah.
So, once you've got that, you'd be like, okay, cool. You might follow each other. You might go to future conventions and run into each other, because now that you've kind of had that initial talk, you can say hi, right? You follow each other. Daniella's going to post some things about the dog, about working out at the gym, about getting swole, right? And or whatever costume you're making next, and you'd be like, oh wow, that looks really cool. You send them a comment, and it's like, wow, we're connecting, right? So that's how you like you kind of low key start to connect. Okay. At 100%. Some stage, you might be like, hey, you going to the con on the weekend? Like, yeah, I'm going to the con on the weekend. Sick. Let's meet up, have fun, whatever. But what you gotta do, Daniella, agree or disagree again, please. You're gonna be like, yo, what are your dinner plans tonight?
Yes, agreed. I 100% agree. And it also even helps me sometimes, because sometimes I'm caught up in my own world that I might forget to invite people or tell people what's happening. And it's hard to remember everyone that wants to catch up. So if you message me or even tell me in person, it's so much easier, because I'm not on my phone a lot at cons.
Yeah.
Tell me in person and be like, what are your plans for dinner? And I'll be like, oh, actually, there isn't a plan yet, because that's usually how it goes. There isn't a plan yet. But when there is, I will call you, because I will usually call people or message them. It depends what they're comfortable with and how well I know you. If I don't know you very well, I'll message you on Instagram and be like, this is the plan, this is the time, this is the place.
Danielle and I, we exchanged phone numbers this weekend. Oh,
yeah, we do.
Oh, we're stepping up. We're going there.
It's just so much easier.
It is, because I barely get any calls these days. Maybe from my mum, maybe from my brother, but so it's like, oh, someone calls me. It's like, all right, I'm going to pick up the phone, right?
Yeah.
But what you got to do, you forge these friendships. We're like, hey, what are your dinner plans? And after that, you'd be like, oh, maybe you've got some. Like, if you like this person, it's very easy to be like, oh, not really do anything, but hey, we should do something. Sick. Yeah. That's an in, right? If you don't like that person, you'd be like, oh, look, sorry, I've already got plans with mates. So sorry. Like, it's that easy. Exactly. It can be a very, very simple thing to kind of coordinate in that way. But you do have to, number one, start that conversation, and number two, you gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
But
100% agree.
that dinner is where you're gonna make or break it. It's gonna be like, wow, this person was so much fun to hang out with. It's like, oh, that sucked. But hey,
yeah,
that's friendship in a nutshell, right? Either it's
it is.
gonna work,
I agree.
So,
yeah.
Have you had any experiences which you're like, oh wow, great after con dinner, or like, oh wow, that was a horrible one. Oh man.
There have very rarely. There's been like one time where after a con eating, it was just like I was very excluded from the conversations.
Yeah, right.
And when I did talk, it was like, oh, no one wanted to engage. That was like the only time when it was bad. And I was like, oh, I'm not getting good vibes from this. I wish I had gone and ate with someone else.
A different group, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was just because, like, it could be for so many reasons. It could be that people are tired, or they are choosing to spend their energy on the people that they are closer with as a friend than you. Or sometimes I guess my energy can be overwhelming as well. But after a con, I would like to say, usually my energy isn't crazy because I am tired.
No, you are. I agree.
Especially if we're eating, like, we're all pretty chill. I'm not going to be like those Energizer bunnies from the ads, you know?
Yeah, they just never die.
The battery ads.
They just never die.
Yeah. But most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, I always have a good experience because, I like to invite lots of people. I've started to invite more photographers too.
That's nice.
That I trust and stuff, because I've started to realize not a lot of them get invited out. And I was like, oh, that surprised me. Like, I've had some be like, oh, so kind of you to invite me out for dinner. Like, I don't get that. I'm like, what? But you're such a good photographer. Like, I thought you'd always get invited out. I thought, you know so many
that's
people.
Nice.
But
that's good.
people are scared to ask, what are you doing for dinner? But I think that could also be because photographers tend to get a bad rap of being creepy,
Yeah.
So they don't want to, a lot of photographers are male, and it's harder, I think, sometimes for guys to ask female cosplayers, what are you doing for dinner tonight, without coming off as weird or creepy.
Absolutely.
Unfortunate. Yeah, it's so unfortunate, but it's so good, having people that are like, what's the word? Not like you, but you all kind of mesh well.
Mesh well. That's a good way of doing it. Yeah. So we did a dinner thing on Saturday. I think Thursday was just me and Keely. Friday was what happened Friday? You guys
Friday
bounced. Oh, I went to Fortress. I went to Fortress with the lads. That's right. So.
Yeah,
it was a different experience each time. Because, on Sunday it was just me, Keely, and Shane. And I told Daniella the story before, but... Oh, God bless you, Shane. But, man, dude, you had like 3 blocks to walk and you still get lost? Come on.
That's so funny.
Oh, dear.
Oh, gosh.
But, no, that was funny because I forgot that Fortress, for some reason, in Sydney, closes at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. So, I was so we finished dinner at like 9 p.m. or just like 9:10. And I was supposed to meet up with a friend afterwards at Fortress. I'm like, it's closed. What? So.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we ended up just walking around for an hour or two, and we got a bubble tea from Gongcha. We got 3 or 4 bubble teas and got the limited edition Final Fantasy code or something.
Nice.
So that was fun. But So anyone listening, there's your instructions for how to kind of start the easy road, to make friendships. How does this tie to the bookstore? By the way, it ties to the bookstore because same thing. You got to go up and say hi. Number one. It's like, oh, look, I really like that book. You should get it. Like, good taste. You start talking, right? You're back and forth. If it's cool, it's like, hey, like, we've got, like, similar interests in comics. You seem pretty chill. Let's exchange socials. Easy. Sweet.
Yep.
Done. After that, I know you follow, they seem like a pretty cool person, but like, yo, what's up? Like, let's grab a coffee and go look at comics.
Yeah.
Hey, you going to the con? Like, is there a con in town? Like, that's how you start. Okay? It doesn't just go straight from, hey, like, we should be friends right now and go out and get lunch right now. Like, you can if your days are like that, but you gotta make the first move. Danielle, you gotta make the first move. Go to that comic book store. You got this. To be fair, you've been really good. Like in the last couple of years. I've kind of seen where you've been going, so that's really nice.
Thank you so much. I have similar experiences in terms of just approaching people in public. Like 2 people that I actually got to see at the con at Smash, I had met. But one of them I had met 10 years ago at a con. I think it was Oz Comic Con when it was on Glebe Island. Yeah. And I was so surprised that we recognized each other because it'd been so long. But they were like, Daniella? And I was like, yeah, is it Hero, because I don't know their real name.
Yeah,
Their name on Instagram was Hieronymus, I believe. And he was like, "Yeah, do you remember me?" I'm like, "Yeah, do you remember me?" He's like, "Yeah." We're like, "Oh my god, it's been so long." This was at PAX last year. And I saw him again this year. He was staff, and I was like, "This is so cool." But the time I'd actually met someone outside of a con, I got to see him at the con again. So we had met through DDR back in high school days.
Wow, you're a DDR girl. I see how it is.
Yeah, so during high school, I used to play so much DDR. Like after school, it'd always be DDR. I just was obsessed. And I'd always see his high score there. And then at one time, I finally had met him, and I was like, "Are you the one with that high score?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm gonna beat your high score." And we had like this like competitive rivalry, but we'd also give each other tips and stuff like that.
That's nice.
Then we ended up having mutual friends we had no idea about, and got to talk at the con, and it was so good. But it's like you just make friends sometimes like that by just having a mutual interest, and it's just so cool. I love it.
Just talk about the things that you like. Just vibe with it. Like it's great. And I know you go. Speaking of DDR and arcades, we also went to the arcade Saturday night, and Daniella won us all friendship bracelets. Look at this little thing. So, you won like what 6 bracelets or something? So we all just wore them to the con the next day, and I don't know. See, like it just sits around your wrist like that. That's it.
Cute.
That's our little friendship bracelet. So now we sit on this microphone here, so everyone can see it. But
I love it so much.
Yeah, I haven't done anything like that in a long time, so it's good fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Now, what else we got? We've got to get through this. Well, there's little topics here. You didn't get to buy much, but did you get to go through Artist Alley this year? Because that Artist Alley, just straight up, 5 out of 5. It was massive. Such a good range.
Oh, I didn't get to go through it, sadly. I really wanted to. I saw from afar. I knew I would buy way too much stuff too. And there was also the capybara market area too, which was super cute.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go through. But some of my favorite artists were there too, like Sakimi-chan. I don't know if I said her name
I don't know if they were there themselves or if this is just like a friend selling their work, because...
Yeah, I don't think she was there herself. I think it was representatives of the business that were there.
Did you see the not safe for work folders there as well? Did you take a big...
I did at Avcon.
Oh, Avcon. Okay.
At Avcon they were there, and I was like, "Are you going to any other cons?" And they were like, "Smash." And I was like, "Yes, I'll buy art there." Then I forgot, and I was just so busy, and I didn't get to look at all the artists. But the art was so good. I could see that why Smash had trouble picking. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It was interesting. It was so good.
Have you ever run a booth before? Because I saw some really nice setups that gave me some real good ideas.
I helped a friend with her booth when she was selling art. And I remember helping her set it up and everything. And it was really fun. But this was, this is a while ago, like when I was 21. So I feel like now it's almost like standards are higher. Like people are going extreme with their setups, like so much cool stuff, like all these banners and colored like acrylic stands and stuff like that. I really like
the light. There's like a light on a hook that was into like a power bank. So
that's so smart.
So they got like a USB power bank, and they just get this like, it's just a small LED light that just kind of shines down on the prints. It really lit up the area.
So smart.
Such a smart idea. So I know it's just cool how the ideas are just evolving. So every year there's like a new setup. So that was really cool. Apart from that, how was your spending this weekend? Did you go overboard? Did you blow the bank? Did you?
No, I actually did well with my spend. The only time I spent money, I think, was on food.
Me too. Yeah. I did that big izakaya. Oh, what is it? Nice izakaya, but man, that's $80 for 2 people for 3 little dishes and a couple of drinks, and I had I bought pasta for several people, and a jug of alcohol.
Nice. Was this on Sunday?
This is on Sunday. Yeah, it's just really unashamed, but it's like, you know what? It's been a long weekend. We deserve this jug of alcohol.
Oh, 100%.
It was good. It was good.
That's nice. That's so good.
You've told me before. Is your body a temple? You don't drink, or just like a social thing, or is this?
Oh no, I drink.
You don't drink.
I have like, so my dad, he's South American, so he's born in Argentina, and his dad is Italian. So there's like almost no chance of me not drinking.
It's like an Argentinian-Italian blend. It's like, oh man, it's just in the culture.
I have a very like my family, they love to drink safely, of course. Mozart also agrees that I like to drink. Obviously, I don't like excessively drink. I only drink socially. I like red wine. I like a nice tasting drink. But yeah, I'm not crazy with drinking, but my body is still a temple. Sorry, Mozart.
Mozart, I see him. Listen, buddy.
Like, can you see him?
I can see him. Like, sometimes he comes into focus, and sometimes he's not. Oh yeah. I think he's just lonely. He just wants a bit of attention.
We have like dirt bikes that go by sometimes, and it really triggers him. He hates it.
Oh, really?
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I still treat my body as a temple, and I will socially drink. I don't really like to drink to get plastered, like blackout drunk.
Yeah.
I'll get tipsy, but a lot of the time I get tipsy unintentionally because I'm very lightweight.
Lightweight, yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Enough.
What about you?
Oh, look, I tell you what, I'm average. Like, I'm not super lightweight, but I'm definitely not super heavyweight. But I think the biggest thing now I'm going to say is, like, as your body gets older, I think the rougher part is more just the recovery time, which... Oh, man, it's just... What is it? I went out for, was it chicken and soju with some mates a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
And, you know, you're just having a good time. You have some food, you have some drinks, and then at the end of it, it's like, you know what? I didn't even realize. It was like, oh, that's a nice level of tipsy or whatever. But then the next day, it was just like... Man, like, I didn't drink to excess, like, it was very constant, but the whole day was just like, what's going on? Like, this is such a nice day. Oh, just, yeah, so, definitely I'm taking it a bit easier these days, but, you know, a cheeky little drink here and there, it's part of living life, so.
Yep, I agree.
So yeah, Smash experience, 4 out of 5, would do again. Would you like to do the working part again? Because I know it took up a good, maybe half the weekend. Because I know compared to doing something like WCS, which was, I'm going to say, if you do WCS, like, that's your whole weekend. You don't, it's not like, oh, just one day of competition. No, you got to get there for setup on the Friday. You got to go there for rehearsals. You got to go there for the pre-judging the day before. And you got to go there for setting up and doing the rehearsals, like I said, on stage on the Saturday night. So you really don't get any time. So if you're thinking about doing WCS, and that's like, yeah, that's a goal, but you like hanging out at Smash, like, you'll have to sacrifice the entire weekend. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too. It's full on. Most competitions, it's so tiring. Just the pre what's the word, comp section.
Pre-comp section.
A lot. Yeah.
And even on the day, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like a 2.5 minute skit on stage, but that's your entire day just preparing for it, right? Or sitting there with your stomach being like, I shouldn't have had that dairy iced coffee this morning. Like,
your nerves don't help it either. If you really you can't help getting nervous, you know. You can't help. It's like you can't help it.
It's a big event, of course. That's like your 2.5 minutes to be like, showing off what I got. So
yeah, exactly.
So for myself, as you know, I don't do comps at the moment because I really enjoy talking to people and making those connections, and you can do that so much easier when you're not competing. So
yeah, I would definitely work again at a con. Even Smash, I would do it, especially because we've done it already. I feel like I'd better organize my time, and I'd understand how much time I would have to do things, and I'd really just, instead of just, because a lot of the time I just kind of like chill a lot and just take my time, but now I know how quickly it goes. I'll be like, okay, we have free time. I'm going to go around the artist alley. Yeah. And then I'll do it differently, basically. So I would do it again just because it was a lot of fun. And I also like being able to tell people our experiences because you don't really hear it a lot, you know?
Absolutely. A lot of the time it's like, oh, you know, you might have volunteered for a convention before. You might have... I know for Jacqueline, shout out to Jacqueline. Thank you for making this con so wonderful. Honestly, yes. I appreciate you.
Amazing job. 100%.
But yeah, you know, unless you're working there or if you've got a booth there, it's a very different experience. You're competing there, but this is kind of working behind the scenes as part of the crew, even just for a little bit. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. I think I'd like to try something like that again. So it'll be fun.
Definitely. Yeah.
Now, on a slightly less note, what other cons you got left going for this year? Mozart's coming too, apparently.
Sorry. What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, what other cons do you have the rest of this year? Because we're in end of July now, so 1, 2, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months left in the year. There's 2 Brisbane cons, smaller ones, and maybe PAX for me. That's it. But for you guys, what's left on the cards?
So we did apply to be cosplay guests for Oz Comic Con for Sydney and Brisbane.
That'll be fun.
Because we are very burnt out, but we would like to still, I guess, have a presence at the cons. But, so the only reason we'll go is if we can guess, because we're just so tired. So if we don't get it, it's like it's not meant to be. There's no more cons until PAX. So we're trying. But basically, we've decided PAX is the last con of the year. We need a break.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, you guys have been going flat out with like every single convention that exists in this country since the start of the year, really. Yeah,
it's been a lot. Poor Byron. He's been a trooper. He's you can see him like coming in and out. Byron's been an absolute trooper. Like, this is his first year doing interstate cons and go into usually he'd do only one a year, which was me. Not last year, the year before. Like, I only ever did like Smash or Supernova.
Yeah.
So this is his first time, and he's feeling what I felt last year. Because I've done it already, I'm a bit more used to it. When you first do it, it's like, I am so dead. I want to sleep for like 10 years.
You're going so hard. I think Shane's doing the same thing. He said, it's like, yeah, I'm doing this, and then going to PAX, and I'm going to go to Pixel Expo in Perth.
He's going to Pixel.
And he's like, yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should go to AFA in Singapore as well, end of the year. And I'm like, dude, what the hell?
That would be cool. Yeah. I really want to go to a Singapore.
I'd like to try
I've
that.
So many great things. Same. Me too.
Make sure you do wear those like hot, sexy ones, because it is so hot over there. Like, you need to wear the hot, sexy cosplays, because like that's the only thing you're gonna survive in.
Yeah, 100%. I'll write that down. Physically and. Yeah.
You're just gonna have to. If you've never done it before, it's like, well, now's your time.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. And so we're trying to just stick to just one more con for the rest of the year. Because I know I have some group photo shoots like in between. Like, there's a Valorant one and a Chainsaw Man one that I've been invited to. So they'll be like my mini cons with like a group of cosplayers in the city. But yeah, aside from that, we really want to just enjoy ourselves until October. But like we spoke to you, we want to do a panel at PAX this year. So that would be really cool if we could get it together.
We're doing that application. If you guys see us, if you liked our vibe, and we'll keep you updated. If there's something happening at PAX, we'll let you know. But
yes,
we're gonna try and do something where we bring more good vibes down to Melbourne. And see what happens next. All right, Mozart, I'm going to feed you too. You can have lunch. All right.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, that's it. That's the hour for our podcast. That flew by again so fast.
Just like, there's so much we could talk about.
Oh man, let's keep going. But that's the chemistry that you need, right?
Yes, agreed.
So again, thank you very much for joining us, Daniella. She actually just had a chat at the start, just because there's been a bit of a break in the podcast, as you might have noticed. I have sent out a lot of emails and a lot of messages to a bunch of different people. A lot of people are very busy. A lot of people just haven't gotten back to me. So trust me, I have been trying to get a new person each week, but it doesn't really seem sustainable at this point. So going forward, I am going to try and put guests on as much as possible. But in the instances where there might not be a new, fresh guest, where you know them all, Danielle's actually been lovely to join us on an irregular basis. So we're just going to pick a topic, just like we did with Maya. Maya, we still love you. I hope you'll come back and join us eventually. But yeah, just like before, we're just going to pick a topic and just riff on it, give some advice, give some value. So, you know, when you are listening to the podcast, like, oh, what am I going to learn today? That's going to be the plan going forward. So, there's not going to be as many breaks. I'm going to try keep to that. But again, if you got any comments, if you got any stories, and to anyone who went to my panel, if you went out and did exactly the homework that I told you to, which was go and talk to some random people and see how it went, where you're supposed to report to me, send us a message.
Yes. I'm proud of you.
Proud of you. So, what we're going to do is exactly that. But thank you very much for joining us this week again, everybody. We will talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.